Cavin Councilor was best described in 3 words: self-made man. He moved to Florida 20 years ago with $1,500 in his pocket and a borrowed car. An entrepreneur turned race car driver, Cavin pretty much had done it all until his life was cut short in a plane crash. But today, we're going to tell the story of who Cavin Councilor was. This is the story of who was the man himself, Cavin Councilor. Cavin Robert Councilor was born on August 27, 1963 in Flint, Michigan. Councilor excelled in track and field school activities, earning a scholarship to attend Florida State University, thanks to being in the 1981 Michigan State High School Cross Country Championship team. Councilor was a hard-working man, paying his own expenses, and came to Naples, Florida during the summers to paint houses. In Councilor's eyes, the world did not owe him a living. After high school, Councilor would then move to Naples, Florida full-time, and went to college receiving a dual bachelor degrees in criminology and economics while continuing his painting duties. Councilor would put his economics to good use, investing his hard-earned money in a gas station and in real estate. Councilor bought houses to fix up and resell. Councilor himself lived frugally for the most part, driving the same old 1988 pickup truck and living in a modest lifestyle in a condo apartment. Councilor was living in Collier City, which was one of the richest counties in Florida. Councilor was able to capitalize on that growth and make himself a small fortune, probably at least $1 million by conservative estimates. Councilor was a born business risk taker. In Councilor's personal life, he loved to ski, fly, drive stock cars. His dream and inspiration for his business success was that he wanted to own, one day, a Winston Cup race team. Councilor got the racing bug a few years back, buying a friend's street stock race car, and drove about 10 races at Charlotte County Speedway, a 3/8 mile asphalt oval track located in Punta Gorda, Florida. Not content with that, however, Councilor immediately graduated to the Goodies Dash Series and the USIR Hooters Pro Cup Series. Councilor drove about a dozen races for those types of series and decided to try his luck in the ARCA Remax Series, just a step down from the Busch Grand National and Winston Cup Tours respectively. Councilor started his ARCA career in his home track at Michigan in 1997. Councilor ran as high as second place in the race before an axle breaking and wrecking out of the race at 175 miles per hour. Councilor's race shop was located in Mooresville, North Carolina, and was run by his crew chief, Lee Leslie, brother of Tracy's Leslie, past ARCA champion, and Ben Leslie, a crew chief for Mark Martin in the Winston Cup Series. Councilor started a total of 57 ARCA races from 1997 to 2001, with a best finish of 5th coming at Winchester in 1999. His other results were 10 top 10s, an average finish of 19.8, and a best overall points finish of 9th in 1999. He had several bad wrecks in his racing career, however, causing a scapula injury and bruised kidneys. Despite all that, he still loved to race until his early retirement in 2001.
In front of Tim Steele, Thompson coming out of retirement. His last race was here 2 years ago. This very event and a spin. Heavy contact, a couple of cars spinning around, making a half a dozen cars. Now up in turn 4.
Oh, man, and another car comes through and runs in the side of another vehicle. That's Brian Ross, I think, coming across the racetrack. I shouldn't speculate because I really can't see if that's well enough to see if that is. But I can see there's Rich Woodland in the 7 car, Brad Baker in the 6, Cavin Councilor in the 19 car.
That's Cavin Councilor in the car number 19. The 7 car is Woodland.
6 is Brad Baker. There we see
caution number 6 coming out on lap 59. Heavy impact up in turn 4, in the middle of turns 3 and 4, and coming out of turn 4.
Eased off the accelerator, and he lost a lot of momentum. But meanwhile, here we see cars start. The 7 car gets hit behind by the 6. Oh, and he goes in and collects the 67 car. And Cavin Councilor comes in there hard and plows into...
That was the 7 car, Rich Woodland.
Yes.
That was spinning around. Councilor has impact from the 31 of Randall Ritter, rather. Different angle, this impact up in turn 4.
Woodland really got clobbered. And then I think Councilor got hit awfully hard with the 31 car of Randall Ritter. And there's a car down on the inside we haven't seen before. This one more angle.
Now from Cavin Councilor's on board, the Earthlink on board. He didn't want to see this. Oh, man.
See Kevin there moving around. Has his helmet off. He's not moving fast, but he is moving.
It sounded probably 8 cars involved. Some of those cars.
And we are being told that the 66 car of Bob Straight may also have some
Behind
damage.
him as he rolls down the back straightaway here. And there's trouble. One car's in the wall. Cavin Councilor, the target saw is 19. Cavin out of Florida. He has spun and backed into the wall plenty hard. And that will bring out a caution flag here at the Nashville Superspeedway.
While Councilor wasn't driving, he was the car owner, fielded a number 19 and 91 entries for drivers such as Tracy Leslie, Ed Barrier, Dennis English, John Herb, Johnny Sauter, Ben Hess, and Brent Sherman. As an owner, Councilor Racing started 86 races, collecting 1 win with Ed Barrier at Chicagoland in 2001, 7 top 5s, and 22 top 10s. Councilor Racing even made a Busch Series start at Kansas with Ed Barrier, starting 33rd, but crashing out on lap 10 and finishing 43rd. During 2001, though, Councilor decided to sell some of his ARCA cars and rented out some of them as well. In early 2002, Councilor even attempted to start a truck team with driver Mike Swain Jr., but the team dissolved after failing to qualify for the first 2 races. Councilor then partnered with driver Brent Sherman to do a part-time schedule in the ARCA series for 2002 with a new number, changing from his usual number 19 to 04. Councilor had a zest for life and always had a smile on his face, according to Naples open-wheel driver Chris Turner. He was the kind of guy you always walked up to and looked up at. He started with nothing and became a self-made entrepreneur. He did it all on his own, honestly. All he ever talked about was racing. While Councilor wasn't behind the wheel, he was an avid pilot, being a registered instrument-rated pilot for 15 years. Councilor had owned a twin-engine Aerostar Machin 700, but also purchased a single-engine Piper Malibu because the plane could carry more passengers. By 2002, Councilor had accumulated 3,000 hours of flying time as a pilot. While Councilor was said to be fearless in flight, he also was kept calm at a level head when presented with danger. When he was flying to Illinois with Councilor, his friend Walsh said the plane began to lose oil pressure near Nashville, Tennessee. Councilor then pulled up on the throttle and turned off the motor so that the engine still had good oil pressure in case the other engine had stalled. He was able to land the plane safely, and his friend Walsh never hesitated to fly with Councilor even after the experience. There were times where Councilor had his own airplane and that his race crew would arrive at an airport just to fly to the race with him, and the tickets wouldn't even be bought and everything, but always came together in the end. He liked to do things in the spur of the moment. As his crew said, it was always kind of an odd occurrence, but at the end of the day, like usual, everything would work out. After not being at a race for several months, Councilor returned home to Michigan for the June 15th Flagstar 200 ARCA race with his driver Brent Sherman, who would go on to post a career best at the time, 11th place finish. Councilor also took time to visit his family while he was up north. He didn't fly his plane this time. It was due for its annual maintenance. He returned home and made plans to fly with several business associates, Sean King and Charles Scher Jr., to Sarasota, Florida on June 19th to look at a cabinet shop. However, they would never make it. On June 19th, 2002, just before 10 a.m., Councilor, who was piloting his 1987 Piper PA-46, took off from Naples Municipal Airport. After Councilor's plane left the ground, his engine failed, and Councilor tried to turn back towards the airport. Councilor made a steep left turn, avoiding traffic congestion on Airport Pulling Road, only to unfortunately stall and spiral to the ground from 1,000 feet in the air. Just 30 feet from the Collier Country Humane Society. There were no signs of smoke or fire from witnesses or any communication with the air traffic control tower before the plane crashed. Councilor and Scher were killed on impact, and King died several hours later in the Naples Community Hospital. Cavin Councilor was just 38 years old. Memorial service was held on Saturday, June 22nd in Naples, Florida, with over 250 people in attendance. A scholarship fund was set up by the school he graduated from in Michigan. As for his race team, driver Brent Sherman would continue the team, driving 5 more races with a best of 4th at Nashville. After 2002, Councilor Racing was closed for good, and Sherman would open up his own race operation and continue to race for a few more years later. Cavin Councilor was a journeyman entrepreneur who loved racing and flying and was taken from us way too soon. A great friend that'll never be forgotten by the ARCA Racing family. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe for more, and take care.